What if your phone could fold not once, but 3 times? Would you actually use it? Well, Huawei thinks you might, and they're not giving up on the idea just yet. Last year in September 2024, Huawei released something that looked more like a piece of sci-fi tech than a regular smartphone. It was called the Mate X-T, and it was the world's first tri-fold smartphone. Yep, that's right. 3 folding sections, 1 big screen, and a design that got everyone talking. Now here's the news. The Mate X-T is getting a sequel, and it could be coming later this year. A well-known source on Weibo digital chat station just shared that Huawei is already working on the second-generation Mate X-T. If things go as expected, the next model could launch in September 2025, exactly a year after the first one. So what can we expect? Let's start with the display. According to the leak, there won't be any changes to the screen. That's not too surprising. Building a display that folds 3 times without breaking is already pretty impressive. It seems Huawei is sticking with the same folding design, which actually worked well in the first version. The real upgrades will happen inside the phone. The new Mate X-T will have a faster chipset, meaning it should run apps and games more smoothly, and save battery better. And the camera system is getting better too, although we don't have exact details on how many megapixels or what kind of sensors it'll use just yet. Huawei is also planning to upgrade the accessories that go with the phone. And that's where things get really interesting. If you didn't know, the first Mate X-T already had some pretty cool extras. For example, there's a rotating case made from a very strong material called aramid fiber. This case could rotate up to 270 degrees and also work as a stand. So if you're watching a video or on a video call, you didn't have to hold the phone the whole time. Then there's the foldable touch keyboard. When combined with the case, it turned the Mate X-T into a mini computer. You could type, take notes, or even do light work, all on a phone-sized device that could fold into your pocket. Now imagine how Huawei might improve those accessories for the second generation. Maybe a stronger case, a better keyboard, or even brand new tools we haven't seen before. The company clearly wants to make the phone more than just a cool design. They want it to be useful too. Of course, not everyone loved the first Mate X-T. Some people thought it was just a tech experiment. But the truth is, it got a lot of attention, and people were curious. That's probably why Huawei decided to make another one. One thing many users complained about, though, was that the Mate X-T was only available in a few countries, mostly China and a few others. Hopefully, this new version will be available in more places. Have you ever wondered why iPhones still charge so slowly compared to most Android phones? It's been a common complaint for years. While Android phones zip through charging at 65 watts, 80 watts, or even higher, iPhones are still hanging, out in the slow lane. But now, things might be about to change. Kind of. The iPhone 17 series could finally bring faster charging. But here's the twist. It might not happen through a cable. Let's start with the facts. According to a new TRI-FOLD report from Taiwan's NCC database, Apple seems to be getting ready to launch a new MagSafe charger. And this one doesn't stop at 25 watts like the current model. Instead, it supports up to 45 watts of power output. That's a big jump, almost double. But before you get too excited, there's a catch. This full 45 watt speed will only work with future iPhones that support Qi 2.2, an upgraded version of the wireless charging standard. And right now, it looks like only the upcoming iPhone 17 series will support it. Apple has already tested this charger with several devices, including the iPhone 16 and even the older iPhone 11. But only the newer models built for Qi 2.2 will be able to reach those full speeds. So what is Qi 2.2 and why does it matter? Qi 2.2 isn't just about more watts. It also improves how the magnets line up with the phone, which means more efficient charging and less heat. Plus, it still works with older phones. They just won't charge as fast. This shows that Apple is really pushing wireless charging forward, and honestly, it's about time. For comparison, the iPhone 15 Pro Max still charges at around 27 watts through a cable. Not bad, but nothing close to what you'll find on many Android phones. Interestingly, while the iPhone 16 series didn't get a big bump in wired charging, Tests show that under heavy use, like when you're gaming or using a demanding app, the power can briefly spike up to 38 watts, but the bigger improvement came from wireless charging. Apple quietly increased MagSafe speeds from 15 watts to 25 watts on the iPhone 16 series. Now, with the iPhone 17 series expected to support 45-watt wireless charging, MagSafe might actually become the fastest way to charge your iPhone. Let that sink in. We could reach a point where wireless charging is faster than wired charging on an iPhone, and that brings up an interesting thought. Is Apple preparing to remove the charging port completely? The idea of a portless iPhone has been floating around for years. With stronger magnets, better wireless speeds, and features like wireless data transfer slowly improving, we might be getting closer to that future. Have you ever seen a company leak its own products by accident? Well, that's exactly what just happened with Samsung. And no, it wasn't a hidden tweet or an accidental image. This time, Samsung confirmed the names of its upcoming foldable phones through its own app. Yup, Samsung kind of spoiled its own surprise. Let's break down what happened. For months now, people have been talking about Samsung's next foldable phones, the Galaxy Z Fold 7 and the Galaxy Z Flip 7. We've seen leaks, heard rumors, and even some wild guesses, like a possible Ultra version of the Fold. But nothing was official, until now. What gave it away? The answer is almost funny. The Samsung Internet Browser app. A beta version of this app showed up on the Galaxy Store recently, and if you read the app's description, it clearly mentions that it's made for the Fold 7 and Flip 7. That's right. Samsung just confirmed the names of the two new foldables inside its own app. This was first noticed by the people over at Galaxy Club, and yes, the listing was still live at the time they reported it. But there's a catch. You can't see this if you're using just any Samsung phone. You need to be running One UI 8, which is currently in beta and only available on the new Galaxy S25 phones. So, most people wouldn't have seen this unless they were part of the beta. But clearly, someone at Samsung didn't think curious users would go poking around in the Galaxy Store. Now, this leak does a few things. First, it confirms the official names, Galaxy Z Fold 7 and Galaxy Z Flip 7. These names were expected, but now we know they're real. Second, it pretty much shuts down the idea of a Fold Ultra. Some people believed Samsung might release a higher-end version of the Fold, possibly with more features, a bigger display, or even a better camera setup. But this leak makes it clear that the Fold 7 and Flip 7 are the main stars for now. That Ultra teaser Samsung dropped a while back, probably just clever marketing. Now, what can we expect at Samsung's next big event? If all the reports are right, Samsung is planning its Summer Unpacked event for early July. There's no confirmed date yet, but it could happen in New York, like some of their past launch events. At that event, we'll likely see the Galaxy Z Fold 7, Z Flip 7, and maybe even a more affordable Galaxy Z Flip 7 FE, possibly a fan edition model. There's also talk about Samsung working on a tri-folding phone, something with 3 parts that fold out. That device might only launch in China and South Korea at first, though, and just for fun. Imagine if the actual unpacked date ends up leaking through another Samsung app. Let's hope they're a bit more careful next time.